Well, over the last few years, we've seen plenty of changes to the gaming industry, moving from your typical console to something like this. You can head online and play those online games. Now, Rob here, you are part of a startup, something that started relatively recently. Just tell us a little bit about that, because you've kind of found a gap in the market for a brand new game in the local industry.
Yeah, well, about a year and a half ago, I had an idea for a quiz show. I've always been interested in quiz shows. I've always wanted to create my own. So I had this idea for a quiz show, but I needed something a little bit different to make it interesting. So I was watching YouTube one day and I was reminded about Dick and Dom in the Bungalow and things like that, misspent youth that I had. And I thought, I could bring that into my game show somehow. So I've actually created a quiz show that involves gunge and mess and things like that. And recently we did a Kickstarter campaign and we raised over £3,000 to build a new gunge tank.
So how would you say that the gaming industry has changed? You know, it's always been that element of that online community, people kind of forming part of a big fan base, but you've actually utilised some of that fan base to help you get this on the road. So these people have had to commit to something that wasn't even alive before then.
That's right, yeah. I mean, the Kickstarter's been fantastic. Before the Kickstarter, we were making shows and putting them out online. And when we did the Kickstarter, what we found out is rather than just wanting to watch the shows, people wanted to have a go themselves.
So how do you get something like that off the ground?
It definitely helped that we had something going out there first. So we had the 6 months or so building up to it. So we had the fan base. We have about 2,000 hits a month on our website. It was almost as a joke, though, that I did the Kickstarter, thinking there's no way that I'll raise this. We set a target of just over £1,000, and as I said, we raised over £3,000. So it was crazy, but it was enough to tell me, do you know what? This is something that could actually work.
Well, welcome back. We're in the centre of Birmingham chatting to Rob, who has started his very own gaming production company. Now, Rob, just remind us, how easy is it as a new start-up to the market? Is it pretty competitive? How do you have to stand out?
That is it. It's standing out, really. I don't really think there's anyone else with a gunge tank in their front room anywhere else in the country, as far as I'm aware. So I think if you find something that's a little bit different, you probably stand a bit more of a chance out there. It is quite a competitive market.
So do you think it's fair to say then your love of like childhood television programmes, using gunge tanks, you're trying to bring an element of that back, and also that interactive element, because the people that would watch a game online can actually ultimately get involved and experience it for themselves?
Exactly, yeah. It's that nostalgia element, and it's that having a go element, thinking that they can come and have a go and perhaps beat the quiz. No one has so far, but you never know. There's
still time. Now, we were just talking about when Rob has guests around, this could be quite a fun element to this. So what do kind of like family and what do friends think of having something like this in your front room, in your living room?
Most of them just kind of ignore it, to be honest, because it does turn into a bit of a cupboard when it's not being used. Not a cupboard if you want to hide anything, admittedly, but it is a cupboard where all the stuff just goes in, and it's not really spoken about very much. It's just a bit of the furniture that's a bit odd.
Just fits in. So what is next then for QuizBob and this tank? What are you hoping for? You've had your Kickstarter campaign, and what are you hoping is next?
Now we're aiming for the experience market, because we've seen that is really where people want to come and have a go.
Well, I think we should load her up, shouldn't we? We should get some of that famous gunge in there. Here we go. What do you normally say when you let it go?
I don't normally tell them.
Okay.
Surprise.
Oh, look at that. And for once, I'm glad that I'm not getting involved.